Hello everyone, welcome back to the Listening Corner. This is a calm and safe space where we talk about real emotions, real struggles, and real life, slowly and honestly. Today I want to talk about something that many people experience but few truly understand, and that is social anxiety. If you are listening to this episode, maybe you feel nervous around people, maybe you overthink conversations, maybe you avoid social situations, or maybe you feel completely exhausted after being around others. You might have asked yourself what is wrong with me or why social interactions seem so easy for everyone else but so difficult for me. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know that you are not broken and you are not alone. Social anxiety is more than just being shy. Shyness is feeling nervous from time to time, but social anxiety is a constant fear of being judged, criticized, or rejected in social situations. People with social anxiety often worry about saying the wrong thing, looking awkward, embarrassing themselves, or being watched by others. Even simple situations like talking to classmates, making phone calls, ordering food, going to a party, or speaking in public can feel overwhelming. The mind becomes very loud, full of thoughts like what if they think I'm stupid, what if I say something weird, what if they notice I'm nervous, and the body reacts too with a fast heartbeat, sweating, shaking, dry mouth, or stomach pain. Social anxiety is not only in the mind, it is also in the body. One common misunderstanding is that people with social anxiety don't like people or don't want friends, but that is not true. Most people with social anxiety deeply want connection, meaningful conversations, and to feel accepted, but fear blocks them. Another myth is that social anxiety means weakness, when in reality many people with social anxiety are very sensitive, observant, and empathetic. They notice tone of voice, facial expressions, and energy, and while this sensitivity can be a gift, it can also be very tiring. Social anxiety usually doesn't appear out of nowhere. It can come from past experiences like being criticized, bullied, rejected, or growing up in an environment where you didn't feel emotionally safe. Sometimes it starts when you hear messages like "be quiet," "don't embarrass yourself," or "what will people think," and over time your brain learns that attention is dangerous, silence is safer, and people are something to fear. The brain is not trying to hurt you, it is trying to protect you, and in many cases social anxiety is a survival response. One of the hardest parts of social anxiety is that it is invisible. From the outside, people might say things like "you're too quiet, just relax," or "it's not a big deal," but inside there is a storm. You may replay conversations again and again, feel ashamed about things you said years ago, or need a lot of time to recover after social events. When you cancel plans or avoid people, others may not understand, but avoidance is not laziness, it is fear mixed with emotional exhaustion. Social anxiety can affect school, work, friendships, relationships, and self-esteem. You might say no to opportunities, not because you don't want them, but because fear feels stronger than desire, and over time this can create loneliness, which then makes social anxiety even worse, creating a cycle that feels hard to break. Healing from social anxiety does not mean becoming loud, loving parties, or turning into an extrovert. Healing means feeling safer in your own body, being kinder to yourself, and allowing imperfection. You don't need to change who you are, you need to change how you relate to fear. Healing from social anxiety does not mean becoming loud, loving parties, or turning into an extrovert. Healing means feeling safer in your own body, being kinder to yourself, and allowing imperfection. You don't need to change who you are, you need to change how you relate to fear. Healing happens slowly and gently, through small steps like noticing your thoughts without judging them, practicing self-compassion, challenging negative beliefs, and celebrating small wins such as speaking once in class, making eye contact, sending a message, or staying a few minutes longer in a social situation. Progress is not loud or dramatic, progress is quiet and deeply personal. It is also important to remember that social anxiety is something you experience, not who you are. You are still intelligent, interesting, worthy, and lovable, even when you feel awkward, even when your voice shakes, and even when you stay silent. Your value does not depend on how confident you appear. If you are listening to this and struggling, I want you to know that you don't have to rush, you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to face this alone. Healing is not linear, some days will be harder than others, but you are still moving forward even when it doesn't feel like it. Thank you for spending this time with me here in the listening corner. If this episode made you feel understood or less alone, please consider subscribing to the channel. More episodes are coming, and this space will always be calm, honest, and real. Take care of yourself, breathe deeply, and I'll see you in the next episode.